there's two questions that I would like for black people to ask themselves. What does it mean for you as a black person to be free? And what does it mean for you as a black person to be human?
He says to the oppressed, to be is to be like, and to be like is to be like the oppressor. So our very model of existence, the only way we know how to be human is to be like them. The vision of freedom and humanity and liberation was to be as unchecked, as unaccountable, as heterosexual, cisgender white men.
Exactly.
Powerful, rich white men.
Yeah.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Boris Turner. As you can see, I'm in front of the camera now, not just doing audio and writing. And so I wanted to start this one off by asking those two questions because I've seen a lot of different things in the media lately. Specifically, I've seen everything regarding Howard University and the financial aid crisis, the new scandal with Tuskegee University and how the president has issued that students are no longer allowed to wear bonnets and do-rags to class. And then the whole situation with Jay-Z, which happened a while ago. There's a whole lot of things that are going on with this situation. And that's why I wanted to start this one off by asking you those two questions. It seems to me that black people, a large majority of black people, they equate being free to being successful. They equate being human to being white. And so when I played that video of Mark Lamont Hill and Deontay Kyle, and I forget who the other guy is, y'all should go check that episode out. But when I played that video, it clicked to me that there's a lot of black people who seem to base their lifestyle, base their humanity, base everything that they do in how white people do it. And the disconnect is that, again, it's all rooted in white supremacy. The very nature of what it means to be human for a lot of black people means being like white people. When we talk about the stuff that's happening with Tuskegee University, do-rags and bonnets to class, that's never been such a hot topic. It's been a discussion before, but it's never been such a thing where now we're imposing rules and regulations against doing it. And for me, it's a case by case basis thing. Why are we trying to act like wearing bonnets and do-rags is so insane? These people at these PWIs who y'all keep comparing Tuskegee to, that y'all keep comparing Howard to, they go to class in their pajamas all the time. We're applying this standard that is not universally used. We're only doing this because being professional in this context means doing it how white people would do it. And again, that's all respectability politics, because there will never be anything. It's a moving goalpost. I've heard people say that a lot too. This whole conversation is a moving goalpost because it's never going to matter, because it's not about the bonnets. It's not about the do-rags. It's about the fact that our skin doesn't look like theirs. That's what people are not realizing. And so, again, how are we basing what it means to go through this life if we are only basing it based on how our white counterparts do stuff? That shouldn't be our basis. That shouldn't be our standard. And I get it, because like I said just a second ago, it's a case by case basis. I'm not saying that, someone who has a presentation or a job interview somewhere, you shouldn't show up to a job interview with a do-rag on and some sweatpants on. No, you shouldn't do that. But if we're talking about school, and maybe it depends on the class, maybe for some classes you are, supposed to show up a certain way. But generally speaking, if you are just going to class, you're going to hear your professor lecture for an hour and a half or so, and you're not really going to do anything else other than listen, take notes, and maybe raise your hand to ask a question. Why are we acting like we have to do that a certain way? Why do we have to dress a certain way to do something so regular? Because that's a regular thing. You're, again, assuming you're not doing some kind of presentation, or you're not demonstrating some kind of job like scenario in that class. Why are we doing that? Again, to me, it's just another way to police black bodies. It will never be enough. There will never be anything that a black student can or can't do to be professional, because I don't think it stops at do rags and bonnets. There's been whole conversations about the way black hair is supposed to be. We're supposed to straighten it. It's supposed to, we're supposed to cut it. We're not supposed to have locks. Like, I have locks under my hoodie right now. Like I understand this doesn't look professional, but this is just a regular video. I'm not doing anything crazy other than talking about what I'm talking about. Does that mean that I can't get professional? Y'all see these suits right here? Like, I know when to do that. I don't think that this is the time for it. And if I go to class like this, if I had my bonnet on and my do rag on, I probably wouldn't wear my do rag out to class. But if I had my do rag on when I went to class, why is that such a bad thing? What are you basing being professional off of? I promise you, your answer will revolve around, because this is how white people do it. And if that's how it is, I don't think that's what our standards should be. And then we got this whole thing with Howard University. That's the school that I just graduated from. First things first, let me say that I do empathize with all of the students, the incoming students who are dealing with these financial aid issues. But I think that there are a lot of people who are misunderstanding what's actually going on here. Number one, the Trump administration imposed new financial aid rules. That's number one. And so now, as a result of that, Howard University has lost about $64 million in federal funding. Now, don't get me confused. They are still receiving federal funding, but they've taken a pretty big hit in that regard. And so, when you used to be able to call up, I forget her name, the one woman in the A building, and say, hey, I have a balance. I need this to get resolved. And she was like, yeah, I got you. Don't worry about it. You can't do that anymore, because that's part of what that $64 million would help go to. The new financial aid rules that the Trump administration has imposed is affecting students across the nation. This is not just a Howard thing. And so when we get to acting like these PWIs are so great, and oh yeah, my PWI can never, when I get to hearing things like that, I'm, the rhetoric is very anti-black, because these PWIs are facing the same issues. Are we trying to say that PWIs don't have financial aid problems? Are we trying to say that PWIs don't have moldy dorms? Don't have crazy cafeterias where there's moldy food, where there's bad. What are we talking about? This isn't just a Howard thing. This isn't just a HBCU thing. And so when I hear people say things like, oh yeah, my PWI can never, do we understand what HBCUs were built for in the first place? I let again, let me be clear. I understand that HBCUs have problems, but HBCUs were made as certified safe places for black people to attain a higher education. HBCUs were made so that people could explore blackness, so that people could explore their black expression through an academic lens as well. You're not doing that at PWIs. Definitely not to the same extent that you're doing that at an HBCU. And so, okay, maybe a PWI has more resources, better funding, that sort of thing. But I would say across the board still, PWIs are not generally safe for black students because there's still a whole other side. There's a whole bunch of other issues that black students face at PWIs. And so let's not act like this is so cut and dry, like HBCUs are just whatever. They're doing fuck all. Like that, let's not do that because that's not the case. It hasn't been the case. Yes, again, HBCUs have problems, but so do these PWIs. What did I say before? We are not applying the same standard universally. If you can show me a PWI that has never had any kind of administrative issues, then okay, you can win that argument. You won't. But again, this is not just some thing that only HBCUs go through. The media is trying to portray it that way because that's what the media does. There's always a problem. There's always a problem at the black schools. That's not how it goes. Higher ed has problems that need to be addressed universally. So let's stop acting like that this is just some Howard issue, that the Tuskegee thing is just a Tuskegee issue. This has been happening. And so again, what are we basing our humanity off of? What are we basing what it means to be free off of? Are we basing that on individual success? Are we basing that on looking like white people? Are we basing that on moving like white people? Does being successful mean being free? I don't think so. I think that's what Jay-Z thinks. I think he is under the premonition that because he has achieved a certain level of fame and success and he has all this money, he's got all these assets, he can do all these things as a result of his music career and his business ventures. I think Jay-Z is under the understanding that he is almost white now. Now, of course, he won't say that. Why would he? If he did, that would be crazy. But I think a lot of black people, especially the people who love to say, like black excellence, a lot of people use that basically as a synonym for black capitalist. Black capitalism is not going to save the black community because capitalism only allows for the individual. Capitalism says, fuck the rest of the community. If I can be successful, then that's it. That's all that matters. I don't think we should be thinking like that if we truly want to be free. I don't think we should be trying to move about our classrooms like we have to dress a certain way. We have to dress how white people would dress, even though they go to class in their pajamas all the time. We shouldn't be moving like them as a means of trying to be free. Being white does not mean being free. It means being white. And so, I'll leave y'all with that for now because, maybe you haven't caught anything I said because I'm not dressed right. It's all intentional. We need to understand that Stuff like how we dress, how we talk, how we walk, how we dance, that's not going to make white people, white supremacy, view us in any different light. They will come up with whatever they need to say, oh yeah, that's not professional. Oh yeah, that's not how you should do that. They'll continue to demonize our culture. And at this point, it seems like we're letting them. We can't let them demonize our culture as a means of trying to be professional. Because being white, that's not going to do anything for us. Because we will, there is nothing that you can do as a black person to be white. You can have all the money, you can have all the fame, all the success, you can master capitalism. You can be a billionaire like Jay-Z. But as soon as whiteness decides that it does not want you in its circle anymore, it will cast you out. They might kill you as a means of casting you out. There's nothing that's going to change. And so why are we operating by their rules? Why are we acting like the Howard University financial aid crisis is something that all schools across the nation aren't dealing with? What are you basing your standard off of? I'll leave y'all with that though. Catch y'all next time.